What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I'm coming at you from the Pilot in Greenfield, Indiana, I-70 exit 96. Since the last time I came out here, they totally revamped the place, but one thing they didn't do was reconfigure this parking lot. So looks like there's still some trucks stacked up here that were creatively parking from last night. Now it's what time is it? It's 8:30 in the morning, right? And Prime is not making us look good over here. Prime is parked in a way that is making some of these other trucks have issues pulling out and backing into a spot. As a matter of fact, somebody almost hit the truck next to him because the Prime truck is not given. I mean, it's enough to get it in, but barely. So what I would do, first of all, if anybody ever sees me parked in something that's not a real spot at a truck stop, you know, $50 right off the bat, because that is not going to happen. But even if it did happen, what I would do is I would set my alarm. I don't know what time this driver got here, but I would set my alarm for like 05 in the morning, and then, you know, PC into a regular parking spot. Because basically, now if that other truck would have hit the truck next to it, obviously it's his fault. But the reason he would have hit that truck is the Prime truck sitting out there. Anyway, enough about that. What I want to talk about today is things that you won't like about reefer. Now, if you're new like I was when you came into it, it's really, you know, you don't know anything different than that. But I had somebody email me and ask me, you know, what were some of the pros and cons about driving a reefer. So this is just going to be about the cons as far as pulling reefer loads. So might as well get started. Okay. Number one, if you're a solar power trucker, it might make it a little bit hard for you. We have crazy appointment times. You know, our appointment times, I mean, if you have a delivery any later than like maybe even like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock definitely in the morning, that is a late delivery. We're usually delivering between 12 and 4, somewhere in there. So crazy appointment times, things like that. So a lot of times you're not able to get that sleep in the morning unless you ran out of load and got ahead of it and worked your way into a good night's sleep. But that is one thing you may not like about reefer. I just had to deal with this last night, was long waits at shippers potentially. And a lot of times with these, we're not talking about the live loads. You know, you're typically just going to be taking an hour to 3 hours getting loaded on live loads. But these dropping hooks, they can be a problem, especially if you're not able to sleep on a dime. Because, you know, for example, I had a pickup yesterday. I was supposed to pick up at 11 p.m. I didn't get out of there till, or not, yeah, 11 p.m. I didn't get out of there till 02 in the morning. So, you know, sometimes you're not able to really get that good sleep if you don't know if the load's gonna be ready, and that wasn't even that bad. But sometimes you're not able to get some sleep if you don't know if the load's gonna be ready in 10 minutes or 10 hours. And trust me, as a reefer driver, you can be out there up to 24 hours delayed on a drop and hook sometimes. So managing your sleep is sometimes hard when those situations arise. But that is definitely a con to reefer loads. Another one is just picking up at protein plants. These have got to be the worst places to pick up in the world. First of all, some are better than others. You know, some are civilized. Some of them are just like some dirt lot that you pull into, and that could be muddy half the time. And the trailers are about 10 inches apart. So that makes it a challenge. And man, this parking lot has a lot of action. You can't tell. I got a dual screen on. Basically, I'm just facing the fuel island, but this is a very tight pilot. Not the tightest, but it's not a comfortable place. But anyway, some of the worst ones will have like the animals coming in the same entrance as the reefer driver, so you gotta look at all that stuff. You know, you're gonna be dealing with some smells. In the summertime, you're gonna be dealing with some flies. So you might spend 2 hours trying to get rid of all the flies in your truck and still ain't gonna be able to get all them bad boys out. So definitely those are my least favorite shippers. Now there's a few of them out there that are really nice to pick up from, but as a whole, that is not the case. Another thing you're going to be dealing with is some heavy loads. Almost every load. I mean, sure, you're going to pick up, you know, I just had like a few light loads, but for the most part, you're going to be like 40 on up, 40,000 on up. You know, every now and then you'll get like some 8s and 10s and 15s and stuff like that, but that is going to be rare. So you're going to be slowing down on some hills. You're going to be burning up some fuel, because that is just the nature of reefer business. Is going to be some heavy loads. Another thing that you might not like about reefer is just the reefer itself, and that could be just the engine. You know, worrying about if that's going to go out. You know, worrying about the chutes and stuff like that. If you pick up a load and the chute on the inside of the trailer is messed up, now that just added a bunch more time that you need to deal with, depending on how messed up the chute is. But there's nothing worse than picking up a trailer and it's 100 degrees outside, and all of a sudden your reefer is throwing some reefer alarms. So definitely not a good thing about pulling reefers. Another thing, this might even should be higher on the list, not that I'm going in order, but washouts. Washouts could be a serious pain in the ass. Now, typically you can get away with using a leaf blower and blowing it out if it wasn't like one of those meat loads that leaks or anything like that. So it's not like you're gonna have to do it all the time, but it seems like half the time you gotta do it. The closest washout might be 50-60 miles away, maybe not even in the direction you're going. But that is definitely a con, is having to wash out some trailers. Another thing is just fueling the trailer itself. Now, generally in the summer, it's not going to be that big of a deal, because you're usually not going to get shut down for extended periods of time. But, you know, if you're driving around in the winter and you're on I-80 and they shut 80 down and you're not at a truck stop and your reefer may not be full, that's adding another layer of stress. Like, am I going to be able to get some fuel before this thing runs out? Or sometimes it skips your mind. You're out running and gunning and you don't even think about reefer fuel. You get ready to go ahead and park for the night, go out there, check that reefer, and you're like at a quarter tank and you're like, damn, should I chance going and getting some fuel right quick and losing this spot, or just hope that it'll be good. So fueling itself is a downside to reefer. And another thing is just the reefer noise itself. Now, most reefer drivers, it's not going to bother us that much. Every now and then you get a raggedy ass reefer that might be a little bit louder or might shake a little bit more. But for the most part, you become used to that. But you always got people, somebody else is trying to back. Oh no, okay, Prime moved. All right. You know, you're always going to have people out there complaining, how come a reefer driver parked next to me? Why didn't you park over there with the other reefer drivers? You know, shut the fuck up. My APU is a lot louder than that damn reefer is. So, I think that's just people whining to whine about some shit. But those are pretty much the reasons why you might not want to do reefer. There's a whole list of advantages to doing reefer, which I'll do in a separate video. But when I got that email from that guy, I figured, you know what, that is a decent topic. I'll go ahead and turn that into a video, and then I'll do the pros of pulling reefer as well later. But I do appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.